Did you know that the right vegetable can strengthen your bones and even improve your memory? Maybe you've never stopped to think about it, but after 50, your body changes, and along with it, their needs also change. Do you know that feeling of tiredness that didn't go away even with rest? That memory that is no longer the same? Or that joint pain that appears out of nowhere? That's that. This is not just age stuff, as many people say. In many cases, it's what you're failing to put on your plate. And you know what's sadder? It's just that, while we worry about cutting sugar, salt, fat, no one talks about what we really need. Few people tell you that the right vegetables, consumed in the right way, can restore the vitality you felt back in your 30s, 40s, that they help strengthen your bones, protect your heart, and even clear your mind. If you feel like you're losing control of your health, that the energy is no longer the same, or that you're tired of feeling limited, I understand you. You're not alone. But you also don't have to accept this as normal. Today I'm going to show you which 6 vegetables you should eat every day if you want to regain your strength, your disposition, and your autonomy. And it's not a magic recipe, no. It is simple science, applied with affection, as if it were advice from someone in your family. So, stay with me until the end. It could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Some of these simple choices may be in your closet right now, and others you may never have taken for granted. The difference between continuing to feel pain and having more lightness in your steps may be in a detail that goes unnoticed in everyday life. And if you are looking for clear, safe, and respectful information on how to take care of your body at this stage of life, this is the right place. We will continue together on this path. So now that we're aligned, let's get straight to the first vegetable that needs to get into your routine starting today. The first vegetable that you should consider more carefully in your eating routine, especially after the age of 50, is spinach. And no, it's not just that bitter green that a lot of people push on their plates. Spinach is practically a silent ally of your health, and unfortunately ignored by many precisely because of the stronger flavor. But let's get straight to the point. This vegetable is very rich in magnesium, iron, calcium, and vitamin K, nutrients that act directly on bone health, muscle strength, and the prevention of inflammatory diseases. If you experience joint pain, weakness in your legs, or notice that your energy plummets during the day, maybe spinach is one of the keys to reversing this situation. After 50, the body naturally begins to lose bone mass, and the absorption of nutrients is no longer the same as before. Many older adults face problems such as osteoporosis, night cramps, chronic fatigue, and even difficulty concentrating, and have no idea that part of this loss of vitality is linked to a lack of certain minerals, such as magnesium, which spinach offers in abundance. This nutrient participates in more than 300 biochemical processes in the body, including regulating blood pressure, controlling glucose, and improving muscle function. In other words, we are talking about a food with a real impact on your daily life, and most importantly, it is affordable. Spinach can be eaten raw, in salads, sautéed quickly in garlic and olive oil, or even in green juices. Many people believe that you can only eat healthy on a budget, but the truth is that vegetables like spinach offer immense nutritional value at a low cost. The secret is in the frequency. Eating spinach once a month doesn't change much, but including this food at least 3 times a week can start to bring visible results in a few weeks. Less leg pain, more willingness to walk, and even a more peaceful sleep, since magnesium also helps relax the muscles and nervous system. And here's an important point. Many people consume calcium, but forget about vitamin K, and it's essential for calcium to go to the bones and not to the joints. What does this mean in practice? That eating spinach helps your body make better use of the calcium you already consume, whether in food or supplements. This is one of the big differences between just ingesting nutrients and absorbing them correctly. This is the food intelligence that everyone should adopt after the age of 50. Eat with strategy, not just with habit. In addition, spinach has anti-inflammatory action. If you feel your knees swell at the end of the day, if your fingers lock in the morning, or if you feel that annoying stiffness in your back as soon as you wake up, understand. This can be the result of internal inflammation caused by a diet low in vegetables with this type of action. Spinach works by clearing away those silent inflammations that accumulate over time and which are often mistaken for age stuff. They are not. These are signs of the body asking for help. And speaking of help, there is another point that is little talked about but extremely relevant for those over 50, brain function. Over the years, it is common to feel a slight mental confusion, a difficulty remembering names, appointments, or even simple words during a conversation. And although many people rush to supplements, nature already offers potent allies, and spinach is one of them. Rich in antioxidants such as lutein, it protects brain cells against premature aging. Science has shown that people who consume dark green vegetables frequently have slower cognitive decline over time. This means maintaining their autonomy, their memory, and their independence for much longer. Now, if you're thinking that spinach alone is going to solve everything, I have to be honest. It's one piece of a puzzle, but a powerful piece. And most importantly, it is a simple choice, which is within your reach. No one here is talking about fancy formulas or complicated diets. We're talking about bringing back foods that have been left out, often out of sheer forgetfulness, and that can have a real impact on your well-being. It's not just about living longer, it's about living with quality. It's about being able to get out of bed more easily, go out for a walk without fear of tripping, take your grandchild in your arms without feeling pain. It's about autonomy, about independence, about not feeling hostage to medication all the time. And yes, it starts on the plate. It starts with what you put and what you don't put into your daily meals. And if you're in the habit of eating rice and beans every day, try including a small portion of sautéed spinach on the side. If you have breakfast with bread and coffee, how about a green juice with spinach to start the day? These are small adjustments, but they add up. That make a difference. That can, yes, change your health story in the coming years. And believe me, it's never too late to start. In fact, if you've come this far, it's because you care about your health. And this already shows how much you are willing to take care of yourself. So stay with me, because the next vegetable I'm going to show you might be in your fridge right now. And what it does for your heart may surprise you. And if spinach helps your bones, muscles, and even your mind, the vegetable that comes next has an almost silent but extremely powerful performance, especially on the heart, an organ that, after 50, needs more attention than ever. We are talking about beets. Maybe you've heard of it in salad, maybe it's part of your childhood. But what few people know is that, for those over 50 years old, beets can become a strategic ally in preventing cardiovascular diseases, increasing energy, and even improving circulation. Beets are rich in natural nitrates, substances that when ingested turn into nitric oxide inside the body. And why does this matter? Because nitric oxide is responsible for dilating blood vessels, facilitating blood circulation, reducing blood pressure, and improving oxygen transport to the muscles and brain. Translating this into everyday life. More circulation, less fatigue, less risk of hypertension, more disposition. That's why today many doctors and nutritionists recommend beets as part of the natural treatment of people with high blood pressure and poor circulation. And even more, as a way to avoid the constant use of medications in the early stages of these problems. And here comes the part that no one tells you. When circulation improves, it's not just the heart that thanks. Your legs gain more strength, your feet stop swelling so much at the end of the day, that tingling sensation in your fingers can disappear. And if you've ever felt dizzy when you get out of bed, or notice that you're more sensitive to heat and physical exertion, this may be linked to poor oxygenation, and beets act directly on this point. It clears the paths where the blood passes. It strengthens your system as a whole, and this is essential to maintain your independence and mobility over the years. In addition to nitrates, beets have iron, vitamin C, and antioxidants that fight free radicals, substances that accelerate cellular aging. And this is not just an aesthetic conversation. We are talking about the preservation of your mental health, your cognitive capacity, the clarity to make decisions, The memory to remember where you put the keys or what the name of that nice neighbor you met again at the market was. Brain aging is real, but it can be slowed down with the right choices, and beets are on that list. And let's be honest, how many times a week do you include beets in your diet? If it's 1 or 2, that's fine, but if it's less than that, you may be missing out on a food that acts as a natural tonic for your body. And unlike many expensive supplements or complicated diets, beets are there, simple, cheap, easy to find. You can grate it raw and put it in the salad. You can beat it with orange and make an energizing juice to start the day. You can cook it and use it as a side dish. There are even those who add it to the rice, bringing color, flavor, and health to the dish. And no, beets don't thicken the blood, as many say out there. This is a myth. In fact, it does the opposite. It helps blood flow better. And if you take circulation medications, you can talk to your doctor about using beets regularly in your diet, because yes, they can complement your treatment, help reduce doses over time, and even prevent you from having to go on stronger medications. This is what we call strategic eating, using food as allies as part of your care routine, as a basis for a lighter life with less pain. Another important point for those who are in the post-50 phase, constant tiredness. That feeling of waking up already tired, of not being able to cope with the day, of feeling a weight on your legs and shoulders without having made any effort. In many cases, this is directly related to poor tissue oxygenation and a drop in energy production by the body. And beets help exactly there. They improve physical and mental performance. Even athletes, yes, young and healthy athletes, use beetroot juice to improve performance in training and competitions. If it works for them, imagine the impact it can have on a body that is already starting to show signs of wear and tear. What's more, beets have fiber, and fiber is essential for the proper functioning of the intestine, something that, after 50, many people begin to neglect. A slow, stuck, inflamed intestine can influence everything else, from immunity to mood. Gut health is the foundation of overall health, and including fiber-rich vegetables is a simple but extremely effective strategy for balancing the entire digestive system. If you suffer from gas, bloating, or have trouble having regular bowel movements, beets may be the help you need. And let's face it, don't wait for your doctor to talk about it at your next appointment. Not every professional has time to deepen this type of nutritional guidance, especially in the common health system. Therefore, this type of information needs to be shared, talked about, discussed. That's why this channel exists, to deliver you practical, direct, responsible knowledge, and that you can apply today without complication. So pay attention. If you feel that your energy is no longer the same, that your feet swell frequently, that tiredness appears before the middle of the day, or that your memory no longer has the same rhythm as before, consider carefully including beets in your routine, not like a miracle, but as a smart choice. Because taking care of the heart is not just about avoiding bad fats, it's also about frequently feeding what strengthens you. And when you combine this care with other strategic foods, the results appear. Slow, yes, but consistent. You start to sleep better, to have more clarity when thinking, to not feel so much discomfort when walking. And this improvement, small as it may be, is all we need to regain the taste for living more freely. And speaking of freedom, the next vegetable I'm going to show you has a surprising action on your bones. It is cheap, present in almost all fairs and markets, and may be what is missing in your diet to give more stability to your steps. Let's continue. And speaking of bones, it's time to introduce you to a vegetable that may be in your kitchen right now, but that has been underestimated by many people who are over 50 years old. It is cheap, versatile, easy to prepare, and may be what is missing in your diet to restore strength to your knees, balance to your steps, and even relieve joint pain that insists on appearing, especially at the end of the day. I'm talking about the pumpkin. Pumpkin is a true nutritional treasure. Rich in beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A, it acts directly on bone health, immunity, and also on the maintenance of skin, vision, and mucous membranes. But what impresses the most, especially for those over 50, is the powerful combination of minerals it offers. calcium, magnesium, potassium, and phosphorus. These minerals are essential for maintaining bone density, preventing fractures, and reducing the risk of diseases such as osteopenia and osteoporosis, which become a real threat over the years. Have you ever felt unstable when walking? Have you ever had the feeling that your knees are failing or that your ankles no longer support their weight as they once did? This can be linked to the loss of bone or muscle mass, something that happens silently. And the worst, many times when we find out, the damage is already installed. That's why inserting vegetables like butternut squash before advanced loss makes such a difference. Not only does it nourish your bones with what they need to stay strong, but it also helps prevent joint inflammation thanks to its antioxidants and B vitamins. Another point that makes pumpkin indispensable after 50 is its natural anti-inflammatory action. If you suffer from knee pain, swelling in your feet, or stiff fingers in the morning, this could be a sign of internal inflammatory processes. And, unlike processed foods that only worsen this condition, pumpkin works by clearing these inflammations from the inside out. It doesn't solve overnight, but it helps your body get into a recovery cycle. It slows down the processes that cause pain and facilitates the regeneration of the tissues that support your joints. The texture of the pumpkin is also worth mentioning. Because it is soft and easy to chew, it is ideal for those who already face some type of tooth sensitivity or chewing difficulty, common in older people. In addition, its slightly sweet flavor pleases even those who are not a big fan of vegetables, which makes it much easier to include it in everyday dishes. It can be in the form of a puree, soup, baked in the oven with herbs, or even in a nutritious cream at dinner. And here's the secret. When well seasoned with olive oil, turmeric, and a little garlic, it turns into a food that is not only tasty, but also functional. It is important to remember that after 50, many people begin to show hormonal imbalances, drops in collagen production, and a slower cell renewal. And you know what helps support all this? Nutrient-dense foods such as pumpkin. It also has a considerable amount of vitamin C, which helps in the production of collagen, essential for supporting the skin, joints, and even cartilage. If you feel popping in your knees, pain when climbing stairs, or notice that you have lost the firmness of the skin in some regions of the body, know that a lack of collagen may be behind it. And yes, food can help stop this process. Now, let's talk about energy. One of the biggest challenges for those in their 60s, 70s is to keep their spirits up throughout the day. Many report that even after a full night's sleep, they wake up with that feeling of accumulated tiredness. And often this is the result of a diet low in quality carbohydrates. Pumpkin provides a type of carbohydrate with a low glycemic index. That is, it releases energy gradually without blood sugar spikes. This means less fatigue, more emotional stability, and even greater mental clarity. It is a food that, in addition to strengthening, sustains. And if you are on a diet focused on weight loss or glucose control, you can rest assured. Pumpkin, despite its sweet taste, has very few calories. It is rich in fiber that helps control appetite, improve intestinal transit, and reduce that urge to snack all the time. This, in fact, is essential to keep weight under control, a decisive factor for joint health. The more weight your body carries, the more strain on your knees, ankles, and spine. And here comes a cycle. By eating better, you feel less pain, and feeling less pain, you move more. And by moving more, your body responds better. Maybe you don't associate a simple plate of pumpkin puree with all of this, but I assure you, the impact of small changes made frequently is what builds solid health. We are talking about recovering what many have already accepted to lose: strength, autonomy, and tranquility. It's about waking up pain-free, walking more steadily, being less afraid of falls, and living your days more freely. And that's not all. Pumpkin also has properties that help protect the heart, regulate the bowel, and even improve mood. Many people don't know, but about 90% of serotonin, the feel-good hormone, is produced in the intestine. And for this to happen effectively, it is necessary to feed the intestinal flora well. The fibers present in pumpkin act exactly there, feeding the good bacteria in the intestine, balancing digestion, and, as a consequence, improving your emotional state. It is no exaggeration to say that what you eat directly influences what you feel. And if you've come this far, it's because you've understood that health isn't just the absence of disease. It is willingness to enjoy your family, clarity to make decisions, strength to take care of yourself and others. And all of this starts on the plate. It starts with simple choices, such as including pumpkin more often in your routine. It is not something that requires effort, nor money, nor too much time. It only requires attention. Pay attention to what your body needs, attention to what he has been asking for a long time, through pain, weakness, fatigue. And best of all, this care extends. When you take care of yourself, you inspire others around you, your children, your grandchildren, your friends. You become a reference. It shows that it is possible to age with quality, with lightness, with vitality, and this is priceless. Now, let's continue. Because the next vegetable has a surprising effect on the digestive system and can be the key to solving those discomforts that insist on accompanying you after meals. It also helps protect the immune system and acts to control cholesterol. Get ready, because it is simple, but extremely effective. Let's move on. And as I was telling you, the vegetable that comes now is one of those that few people value, but which carries an impressive power, especially for those who are over 50 years old and are starting to feel that the body no longer responds as before. It is discreet, easy to find at any fair or market, has a mild flavor, and when prepared in the right way, can turn into a true natural remedy. I'm talking about carrots. Carrots are a simple but complete food, rich in fiber, beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K1, potassium, and antioxidants. It is a kind of natural combo that acts on several fronts of your health. For those who are at the stage of life where prevention becomes a priority, and where every food choice needs to be made more consciously, carrots fit perfectly as a strategic and affordable option. And here, we don't talk about fads, about trendy superfoods. We talk about real foods that work, that nourish and make a difference in your daily life. One of the greatest virtues of carrots is their ability to protect the digestive system. And why is this so important after 50? Because it is exactly at this stage that we begin to notice changes in intestinal function, more frequent reflux, a feeling of bloating, excess gas, and slower digestion. This happens because the metabolism slows down, the intestinal flora changes, and the body no longer responds in the same way to foods that were previously well tolerated. And that's where carrots come in strongly. Their fibers help regulate intestinal transit, feed the good bacteria in the intestine, and even form a kind of protective shield in the gastric mucosa, helping to prevent injuries and inflammation. And there's more. A healthy intestine directly influences your immunity. That's right. More than 70% of our immunity is born in the gut. So when you take care of your digestion, you are actually shielding your body against diseases, infections, inflammation, and even hormonal imbalances. Carrots, being rich in natural prebiotics, are one of the most effective and natural tools we have to keep this system in balance, without relying exclusively on expensive medications or supplements. That's food intelligence. This is real care for your body. Another point that deserves to be highlighted is the action of carrots on the skin and eyes. With aging, the skin loses elasticity, becomes drier, loses shine and firmness. Already vision begins to weaken, and those over 50 know well what it's like to have to strain their eyes to read something or feel uncomfortable when driving at night. The beta-carotene present in carrots is a powerful antioxidant that protects skin cells against free radical damage and directly contributes to the maintenance of eye health. In other words, carrots help you see better, have more hydrated skin, and even prevent diseases such as macular degeneration, common in old age. And how does she do it? Continuously, discreetly, and efficiently. Carrots, when consumed frequently, offer nutritional support so that your body works more fluidly, lighter. And the best, it is versatile. It goes very raw, grated in salad, goes well cooked, in soups, broths, purees, and if you've never tried carrot cake with wholemeal flour, know that even in sweet recipes it can be an ally. As long as it's balanced, of course. Another little commented but very relevant benefit is the role of carrots in cholesterol control. Aging, along with eating habits accumulated throughout life, can lead to increased levels of bad cholesterol, LDL, and a reduction in good cholesterol, HDL. And this increases the risk of heart problems, which unfortunately are one of the biggest causes of hospitalization in people over 50. The soluble fibers in carrots work by reducing the absorption of fat in the intestine and help keep cholesterol levels in check. It is a natural way to support the heart, along with a balanced diet. Carrots also have anti-inflammatory properties, which makes them an important booster for those suffering from arthritis, joint pain, or autoimmune diseases. It does not replace any medical treatment, but comes in as an adjunct, a daily reinforcement, discreet but powerful. And this type of care is what makes the difference down the road. Because health is not built with great revolutions, it is made up of small choices, repeated constantly. And here's a truth you might need to hear today. It's not too late. If you think you've wasted time, that the body no longer responds, that there's no point in trying, stop now. Every change starts with a choice. A single choice. And perhaps today, this choice is as simple as including carrots on your plate. A small gesture, but one that can start a new cycle in your life. And if you are enjoying this content, take the opportunity now to subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about real health with responsibility, with affection, with truth. Always focused on you who are over 50 and want to live longer and better. And look, there's a lot of content here that complements what you've learned today. So after you finish this video, click to watch the others that are here on the channel. There are a lot of practical tips, a lot of information that can transform your daily life, and most importantly, everything thought out with respect for your time, your history, and your body. And now, I want to know from you, of these vegetables that we have talked about so far, which one do you already consume frequently, and which one will you start including starting today? Tell me in the comments. Your answer may inspire others who are going through the same phase. It can help someone take the first step, and it can, yes, be the beginning of a new way of taking care of yourself. So comment below, because I read everything with great affection, and our conversation continues, because there's still so much more to show you.